As we approach a new season in Last Epoch, a difficult decision weighs heavily on the minds of gamers around the world. What build do I want? What class should I play? Search no more, weary traveler, for I'm here to help. Introducing choosing your class based on your personality. Today I want to spend 5 minutes covering all 5 classes in the 15 masteries and have a little fun doing it. So get your juice boxes ready and let's go. First up, for all you goths or emos or whatever, look, your parents probably won't ever understand, but thankfully 11th Hour Games does. If you've always dreamt of doing edgy stuff like having undead pets or casting spells using your own blood, you're bound to love Acolyte. The Lich Mastery lets you run around in spooky ghost form, giving you access to the skill Reap, but more importantly, allowing you to transform back into human form instead of dying when you hit 0 health. When paired with Death Seal, a health for DPS pyramid scheme, this duo of skills can enable some insane DPS with a built-in safety mechanism. While most Lich builds rely on Reperform and Death Seal to stay competitive in the endgame, there's quite a bit of variety in your other skill combinations. Lich can be a tricky mastery for newer players, but some variants are pretty strong. For those that prefer others do their dark bidding, or just need ample time to ponder on your build in the most regal of fashions, you'll want to check out Necromancer. You have quite a few options with the available minion skills, usually centered around Wraith for Wraith Lords or Skeletons for Bone Golem buffing. Minions exist in several classes, so we've got good itemization support in addition to some pretty cool Necro-specific uniques. Necromancers can be good for beginners and high corruption pushers alike, allowing you to avoid enemy attacks while your minions continue to deal damage. I'm pretty sure EHG just felt bad about giving us a melee mage because Warlock feels a lot like a mage, but instead of dealing with fire and ice, you're dealing with way edgier things like necrotic and poison. You'll typically see Profane Veil and Chaos Bolts in Warlock builds, but there are a handful of more unique archetypes to check out. With tons of ward stacking synergies, Warlock is a very tanky mastery without sacrificing strong DPS. The nerds. Many centuries ago in a long forgotten time known as the 90s, even playing this game would have stuck you squarely in the mage class. Thankfully times have changed and the cool kids are now playing equally stimulating titles. With a metric ton of spellcasting options and a little bit of melee, I'm a big fan of mage. The classic of the classics, the Sorcerer. This mastery focuses on high mana cost, high DPS spells, making it a great option for players looking to conquer the Harbingers and Aberoth in the endgame. You have a mix of defensive options, mostly around taking damage from mana before health and stacking ward. You'll see a lot of builds around Meteor, Static Orb, and Glacier, and it's a strong mastery overall. Next up's our Mage that brought a sword to wand class, aka the Spellblade. This mastery is all about melee magic, often using high cost skills with a low mana pool, relying on mana strike to keep your momentum. Defensively, Spellblades usually rely on ward stacking, but I hope the changes to health in Season 2 give us a few more options. While Shatter Strike and Flame Reave are the most common skills you'll see, there are quite a few builds using things like Spark Charges or Ice Barrage. Spellblade can be strong at the cost of very little build variance. Last up for Mage is my personal favorite mastery in the game, the Rune Master. More similar to a Sorcerer than a Spellblade, the Rune Master is a spellcaster that almost exclusively relies on word stacking for defenses. Offensively, however, we have options. There are an absolute ton of Rune Master builds, as Runic Invocation is a skill that gives us so much variance in this mastery. Even though not all runic combinations are created equally, it's still a top tier choice. The Outdoorsman. You feel most at peace dressed in Patagonia while camping in the wilderness, Subaru keys guarded by your 2 adorable dogs. If you've ever wanted to control the weather, become a werebear, or have a raptor as a BFF, Primalist is a natural choice. Like a less creepy Necromancer, the Beastmaster has access to a wide array of pretty cool minions. You'll see tons of builds including, but certainly not limited to, wolf packs, raptors, storm crows, and even squirrels thanks to Ziz. It's a bit more of a hybrid playstyle than a Necro, but still offers inherent defensiveness. With the right build, it can be a strong mastery. Thematically, the Druid Mastery is one of the coolest in the game, allowing you to transform into an Ent, Scyther, or a Werebear. You'll find solid builds for each of these forms, with Werebear-based builds being the strongest and most popular. Druid is a great option for a defensive, single-target capable build, and I hope to see buffs for the entire Primalist tree in Season 2. While Shaman is certainly not the most popular mastery, there are a surprising number of really strong builds. For totem enjoyers, Thorn and Storm totems are popular choices, and if you're looking for a more active playstyle, Avalanche and Tornado builds are a good place to start. A ton of Shaman builds are very defensive and excellent at single target damage, making it a solid choice for pushing Harbingers. Be you a gun nut or maul ninja, the distinction only known by those of you described as either, Rogue's got you covered. From bows to daggers to a literal dive-bombing falcon, you can explore your wildest power fantasies safely behind a keyboard. The Blade Dancer is a tried and true Last Epoch mastery, focused on melee and throwing attacks and relying on Glancing Blow, Dodge, and Silver Shroud to stay alive in high corruption content. The most common builds rely on Synchronized Strike and Shadow Daggers, and while other builds exist, like Shurikens or Lethal Mirage, most can't keep up in terms of in-game viability. All of that said, it's still a strong mastery, and I hope these other skills see a buff with Season 2. If you long for the days of calling in airstrikes on Modern Warfare, or just wish to see a Falcon logo somewhere other than the losing side of the scoreboard, take a look at Falconer. With tons of synergy between aerial assault and dive bomb, along with bleed or umbral blades and shadow shenanigans, there are some insane Falconer builds. The Falconer is a bit more of an active playstyle than traditional minion masteries, while still maintaining some mechanical safety. This is an exceptionally strong mastery. A hallmark of the genre, our Marksman Mastery is a great choice for those of you that insist dodge is a viable defense layer and miss the days of 1300 life Rat's Nest builds. Multi-shot gives us our shotgun, while skills like Puncture do their best to cosplay an anti-material rifle. We've even got awesome single target skills like Detonating Arrow, especially common in higher tier builds. With Season 2 bringing buffs to health and the new Marksman skill Heartseeker, I bet we'll see this mastery dominate the meta. Don't worry, no one forgot about you muscleheads. Sentinel just comes last in alphabetical order, and realistically, most of you are probably doing healthier things with your life than playing video games. In any case, Sentinel lets you embrace your muscle to brain mass ratio and rip through enemies with big weapons like a true Giga Chad. Keep in mind that we're getting a total Sentinel rework in Season 2, although I don't expect the general archetype of these masteries to change. Not one to limit their weapon count by limits like, how many weapons can I hold? The Forge Guard is an interesting mastery. It's a hybrid build with big melee attacks and minions like Manifest Armor and Forged Weapons via things like Forge Strike. Season 2 brings the ability to wield a two-hander and a shield, which will probably leave Forge Guard in a very strong state. Paladin is pretty much Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and lifting for Jesus has its advantages. With access to healing and buffs from skills like Healing Hands and Holy Aura, it's a very tanky mastery capable of in-game corruption pushing. You'll see a lot of Smite, Judgment, and Hammer Throw, but there are a ton of great builds out there using a variety of Sentinel skills. Inspired by the critically acclaimed film noir Click, the Void Knight controls the very fabric of time with skills like Anomaly and Volatile Reversal. You'll also see tons of Rive builds taking advantage of the Void Knight's Echo ability that has a chance to repeat skills. This mastery also allows for Void type Smite and Warpath, making it a pretty versatile choice by changing so many base Sentinel skills. There's a wide range of power levels in these builds, with the top end being very strong. And now you're prepared to make poorly educated decisions on what build you want to play for Season 2.